going to be tough. We're going to have to spend a lot of money undoing all the shit that he did. This was let's see, Datur. What's up, man?
You can just call me Reynard. It's
Raynars?
it's easier. No. Reynard, like the fox. Like
Reynard?
it's like the name of fox in French. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Um.
What's up?
Where you going? I'm right.
What's on your mind?
I don't know how I sound. Well, a lot actually.
Okay.
Oh, shit. I don't know how I sound well on YouTube, but because I'm using my phone right now.
Well, sounds good
But
on my end. I think it sounds good.
okay. All right. So I mean, honestly, I just I just started watching your channel today. I don't really know 100% what you believe in, but you seem to be maybe a little bit left leaning. Am I correct with that?
Oh yeah, yeah. I would say more than a little bit.
Um,
Yeah, I'm pretty far left.
yeah. Oh, far left, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Um, well, I mean, there's a lot I agree with on the left. I would say that um, right socially, but I'm economically left. Um,
Wait, what? You're
like,
economically left, but
uh,
right socially? That's wild.
yeah,
Are
yeah,
you like
yeah.
a
I know.
yeah? Are you like a nationalist then? Like a nationalist socialist, something like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, okay. I wouldn't go that far, but yeah, almost. Well, because well, I mean, I saw that like today you're talking a lot about MAGA supporters, and honestly, I do think that they aren't the brightest people. Let's just put that, you know, let's just put it that way. But I do feel like there is some good that Trump could do, but he isn't doing.
I agree with that.
Like,
Yeah, I agree with that. I think
like,
he could do more than
like,
anyone.
I mean, any president can, but what I mean by that, for example, is, um, he's been doing the charade of like, no taxes on X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Um, he promised. Well, I mean, you can fact check me on this because I just heard it from Matthew Bannon, the like Breitbart guy. But but Trump promised that he might uh, put tax cuts on the middle class and possibly raise taxes on the wealthy, which would be great. But I highly doubt that he would do that since
Well, he
he's bought
can't.
and paid by the
He
elite.
can't.
So
He's the president. He can't do that.
yeah. Well, you can advocate that, try to sign it into law,
But
but I mean,
they already have their tax plan, and it doesn't have any of that in there. It's already passed the House.
yeah, I guess. Well, I mean, like it's a future plan. It won't happen, within the next few months. But
When's it going to
if
happen?
it did
Well,
happen, that would be
but
great. I don't
the
know.
tax plan they have there like makes the tax cuts permanent.
Does it?
Yeah, that's part of the plan. Yeah.
It wait, what plan? Like what? Oh wait, what? Which
The bill
law are you referring to?
the tax plan that just passed the House.
Not like well versed on that. I didn't really. Hold on, let me look it up. Uh, okay. Is this resolution? Hold on. Resolution 170? Or
That could be it. Yeah, I don't remember the number of it, but yeah, could be.
okay. Um, submit to this,
What's the overall point
unanimous
though? What's
consent.
the overall point though that you're trying to make? Maybe that'll make it easier.
Well, listen, I'm just saying that, like, if Trump was a true populist, he would want to put tax breaks on the middle class and tax
But he's taxing the
uh
middle class
and
right
more
now. He's increasing their taxes.
yeah.
He's not a populist. He's a vulture capitalist.
I mean, he uses populist rhetoric though.
Yeah, that's how you control people. That's what Hitler did too. You
I
use
mean,
populist rhetoric
it,
so that you can control people and so that they don't pay attention to all the crazy shit that you do.
well, I mean, all I mean, all politicians in the U.S. do that, but I
Yeah,
mean,
but
like,
not all
he more
politicians.
so
Yeah,
tries
but
to
not all
make him,
politicians do what he does after that.
right. He tries to make him seem like he's defending Americans, plural, like all of America, not just like. Well, I mean, also America's interests, obviously, but I mean, like, he wants to make it seem like he's like, with like the immigration stuff, like, oh, immigrants are poisoning, the the blood of America or whatever. I
But
think
what
that
would
was a
you
very
agree with that?
stupid thing to say.
Do you think that they are?
Uh, it, I mean,
Thanks for
I
the
mean,
sub.
Can
not,
we just drop the
not,
charade?
not
Like you're
really.
just like whatever you call it.
I
Like
mean,
you're a Nazi, right?
uh, well, your definition is probably very loose, but
Yeah,
sure,
fair enough.
we
Yeah,
could go with that.
yeah. You don't like immigrants. You're
Um,
probably not a big fan of Jewish people.
well, I am Jewish, but yeah, that's another story.
I don't care.
um,
I know people say that too, but there's plenty of people who are Jewish who don't like Jewish people.
yeah, I know there's a lot of self-hating Jews. You know, Marx was one himself.
Sure, I'm
Um,
not a Marxist.
okay, all right, well, that's good. So what? You're like a social democrat?
I don't really align with any ideology. Like if I had my preference, I would have mixed economies. I would have a very strong social safety net and social guarantees, and I would allow a
So,
very regulated form of capitalism.
so you're referring to like what Scandinavian economics or something?
Sure, more similar to that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not against a welfare state, but I just feel like uh, what they've been doing with all the Arab and so on immigrants in Europe was terrible, uh, disastrous even.
What is?
Um, they well, uh, they're the immigrant policy in the EU. They're just letting
Well, yeah,
thousands
we're
and
talking about
thousands of
America though. Let's talk about America.
illegal.
Our immigration policy in
Okay,
America.
okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Whoa.
well,
I
I mean, our immigration policy is kind of shitty too. I
our
mean,
ours.
Trump
What's
claims that he's going to reduce it, but he's actually increasing it.
Yeah, but
He,
you just don't want immigrants, right? It's just because personally you don't
I mean,
want them, right?
not all immigrants.
I know, sure.
I
You
mean,
don't like
ones
brown
that
immigrants,
are willing to work.
Aryan
Well,
immigrants are
ones that are
okay.
willing to work. I don't mind. I don't mind Mexicans that are willing to work, but the Haitians aren't really producing that many jobs or businesses or
Bro,
anything.
the Haitians saved
Uh,
that Springfield, Ohio wouldn't have a town anymore if the Haitians weren't there. What the fuck are you talking about?
it was running fine
No, it
before. I mean,
wasn't.
nobody heard of it because it's like
No.
just
It wasn't.
people.
People were evacuating the city. You can go find business leaders that say like we couldn't find anybody to work. The Haitian immigrants saved our business. That's why they went to Springfield in the first place because there were jobs available that nobody was willing to work.
Did they?
Well, you think they were in Haiti and they're like, you know where we'd really like to go? Springfield, fucking Ohio. No, there's not a human being on
Well,
earth
I
that
don't know.
points to a
Well,
map
I
and is
don't know.
like, I want to go to Springfield, Ohio.
Well, I don't know how they were let in. Most likely illegally.
No, no,
If
those people were here legally.
not, they have any papers? Do they have
Yes,
any?
they're here legal.
Uh,
That's how they have work authorization, dude. That's how they can work
not
legally.
all, not all companies. Not all companies have legal immigrants.
But
They employ
listen, brother,
illegal
I
ones.
don't know
They
if you
just
know
send them
that.
without like
Yeah, I don't know if you know the history of
anything.
Haiti and that the problems that they've had in Haiti. But yeah, we have allowed refugees from Haiti to come to our country for years, and we give them work status.
Yeah.
And everywhere the Haitians seem to go, the people who own businesses are thrilled, and the racists who aren't working
I
seem
mean,
pissed off.
they, all the ones in Latin America keep deporting them though. Like they went all the way from Chile all the way up to Mexico, and they kept getting kicked out.
Who did?
Um, the Haitians. You
Well,
can look it up. That
dude. I
that's
don't know
one
about
thing
the.
from
Yeah,
them.
I don't know about the immigration policies of those other countries. All I'm saying here is
Oh,
immigration is a net positive for us. It's just that people are racist. People don't like people that are different than them.
well, yeah. Well, actually, well, every group has in-group bias. Like even like if you go to any
Yeah, but you should be
like
working to fix. Yeah,
predominant
but you should work to fix
area.
that. Like whatever group you're a part of, you should work to fix that.
Yeah, leftism doesn't really help with that. It just kind of makes it it just shifts the blame
Okay.
onto
What do you,
white people instead of just go attack these people,
it
and
just shifts the blame
and
onto
then it
white
just drives
people.
up.
What are we
Yeah,
blaming white people?
yeah,
What are we
stuff like
blaming
that.
white people for?
Well, one, privilege.
Do you
Two,
not, so you don't believe in white privilege?
oppression. Three,
You don't believe in white privilege?
I mean, n- well, not when they're given. Well, not when other groups are given free shit all the time
White people are
and
given free
priority
white
other
people are given
people.
free shit all the time. What are you talking about?
No,
Yeah,
no,
go
no,
look at the
it's
state.
not.
Yeah, go look at the states with the most government handouts. It's going to be deep red states. You're going to see rural white areas
Yeah,
that are getting
no,
massive handouts.
no, the
Who gets
handouts
more
are
handouts
given
than Elon
to
Musk?
like African minorities. African
Name me
minorities.
one
No,
person who
okay,
gets
well
more
that's
handouts than
billionaires.
Elon
That's
Musk.
billionaires.
Oh, okay.
People on welfare, second generation. Well, actually, it's like probably like third, fourth generation welfare people. They just leech off the government.
Yeah, that has
Um,
nothing to do with race.
it no, it really does. If you look
No, it
at
really
the
doesn't.
uh
It has to do with it
time,
has to do with
yeah.
economics and opportunity. That's why the places that have
Well, yeah.
that's why the places that have generational people that are on welfare, if you go look at the economics of that community,
Mhm.
it's likely that there's not really much upward mobility there. It's likely that we haven't invested in
Yeah.
education there. It's likely that you may have like 30 years ago had manufacturing
Well, they
jobs that
keep
left.
talking about.
These are desolate places.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, even if well, I mean, in Oregon they tried like giving like blacks and Hispanics like free college. Well, I mean, more than free college. They
Why?
basically reduced
Good.
the the what's it called? Like basically like the eligibility to graduate so low to the point where
No.
like
No.
it's
You're
not
making
even college level
no,
anymore. It's like high school.
you're
No,
making that part
no,
up. But
yeah,
what about like the history of America with white Americans getting access to
yeah.
free college? Generational wealth was
Well,
formed when white Americans got
well, yeah.
access to free
For,
college, when white Americans got access to scholarships,
well, I
when
agree.
white Americans were able to come in and own businesses
Well, I
when
agree.
black Americans weren't.
Well, I mean, I agree. For
So
like America's
why aren't you
first
talking about
200
those
years,
handouts then?
listen,
So why aren't we talking about
listen,
those
listen, listen.
handouts?
For America's first 200
I
years,
just
yes, it
would you
was
mind answering that
basically
question?
white supremacy.
Would you mind
Hey,
answering that question? Why
but
aren't you
it's
talking
not
about
that
those
anymore.
handouts?
It's not that anymore. It's because it doesn't even impact people anymore. It
Well,
doesn't, like barely.
it seems to because
Rich and
Elon Musk
senators,
has
and
13 or 14 kids.
he's from
Hold
South
on. Hold
Africa.
on.
He's not.
Hold on. Hold on. Let me help you
Okay.
explain this. People with
Yeah.
generational wealth pass down their generational wealth. So kids are born
Yeah.
billionaires that have never done anything. And
Yes.
are
And
those
I'm against
and
that.
those kids I'm
I'm against
that's
the
called white
elites.
privilege, bud, because the privilege wasn't given.
No,
It is if it's generational wealth, that's white privilege because black people weren't able to build generational wealth in that same way.
yeah, but okay. And then,
Yeah, see,
so
this is
all
the
the
problem I
new,
have. If you want to say that we shouldn't give handouts to people now, then we have to recognize that
yeah,
handouts in the past created this. And you're saying like, "Oh,
no.
that's just in the past, let's ignore it. Let's not try and level the playing field here."
Well, well, okay. Well, listen, I do think that, I mean, especially senators and congressmen, they do earn too much money
I don't give a shit
by
about that.
like just,
That's not even
well,
top 3 trillion. I'd like to talk about I
well,
want to talk about white privilege
well,
right now. I don't want you to shift gears and talk about people that make
okay.
$220,000 a year.
Well,
It's a drop
okay.
in the bucket.
Well, media, just because these, uh, okay. Well, why not? Okay, but you don't think that all the billions and trillions of dollars that like Chinese mega corporations make, that's not Chinese supremacism just because that they have generational wealth? Like it's fucking stupid what the race that they have. Like it shouldn't the blame shouldn't be like I think the blame should be put on the rich.
China
Like
is
it should be
ethnic.
put on the rich.
There's a lack of
Yeah,
ethnic diversity in China. America is
yeah,
like that's who we were. We were built to
yeah.
be diverse. We don't have like we're 250 years old.
Oh yeah, that's
It's not
true.
like an American race. Like the whole point was like we want
Yeah,
to bring
exactly.
people from all around the world and create a melting pot. But unfortunately, white people, specifically white Christian conservatives, every step of the way tried to make it so they were the only ones with wealth and the only ones with privilege. What the problem I have with I'll just be honest.
Okay.
The problem I have with
Well,
your
it's not there
the
anymore.
problem I
It's not
have
there
with your
anymore.
entire ideology, if we're just being 100% honest, is that I think most of you that share your ideology now, you haven't earned a goddamn thing. You're the people that came before
Yeah, that's
you,
true.
the people that came before you kept people forced down in order for them to elevate. They didn't want competition. They were terrified of competition, and the only thing you seem to have inherited from them is that same fear of competition. You would like the pool to be more
No,
narrow because then it doesn't make you look so goddamn mediocre.
no, I am against like the rich having this unquestionable,
That's not what I'm talking
like
about.
challenge.
Please don't change the subject. Please don't change the
Listen,
subject.
but just because that a lot of the elites in America are white
We're
doesn't
not
mean that
talking about the
the
elites. We're
blame can be
talking about
shifted
white
to.
privilege.
Not every white person is fucking in like two-story houses. Like that's bullshit. Like no,
That's
I'm
not
in
what.
like a
Okay, so I
one-story
think
house
you
and
maybe
I can
don't know
barely
what white
struggle.
privilege is then. I think maybe that's the problem.
What?
Maybe you
Oh
don't know
yeah,
what it
yeah,
is.
sure. Explain it to me. Explain
Okay,
it to
so
me. Explain it to me.
white privilege doesn't mean that everything you do is easier, right? Privilege exists in different scenarios. So privilege can exist. For example, if you look at, I think it was in Alabama, they did a study. I can't remember what county it was, but they did a study of people being pulled over, and during the day, black people were more likely to be
Yeah.
pulled over than white people. But then those numbers went back to even at night.
Okay.
Why is that?
Well, you know that cops
Why
go
might that
after
be?
homeless people like
Why might that be?
regardless,
Why
regardless.
might that be?
No, no, no. Listen, you know that
Why
cops go
might that
after
please
like
please I'm asking you
go after poor
questions.
people in general. They cops shoot more
Why
white
might
people than
that
black
be?
people.
Why might that be?
Oh, sure. They have some bias.
They have
Yeah, sure.
there.
I can agree to that.
So in
Yeah.
that instance,
But
that would be white privilege, right?
yeah, okay, but also they kill a lot of white homeless people
I know, but
because they hate poor
we're talking
people.
about
Yeah,
oh sorry.
yes, and veterans.
But we're talking about white privilege, right? We're talking about you said
I,
it.
I
I'm
think
talking about places where it exists. Do you agree that in places where white privilege exists, where you can prove that white privilege exists, that we should do something to fix that?
okay. Then what's your
No,
well,
brother, I'm asking you a
what's your
question.
solution? What's your
No,
solution to doing it? Because
I'm asking you a
cultural,
question.
like, what?
Please, for the love of God, stop running from questions.
Okay,
In
okay, okay.
places
What's the question? What's the
in
question?
places where white privilege exists, should we fix it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's what I believe too. And that conservatives
Okay, but what's the
don't believe
solution
that.
to it?
So, for example, DEI. DEI
Yeah.
makes sure that you can't just hire white people, right? It
Okay.
makes it so that when you consider somebody for employment, for enrollment in a program, you have to consider all qualified applicants, regardless of race, gender, or sexuality. Somehow, this
Hmm.
conservative party has made half the country believe that what DEI really is forcing you to hire unqualified people because of their skin color. DEI is what makes the playing field level, and white nationalists got afraid of it because again, I think the problem that we have here is that we've got a lot of white people that look like me who are fucking mediocre and they don't like losing, and so they want their privilege back. They want their privilege to be magnified. So they undo things like DEI so that their privilege can exist, and their feelings are so soft and so fragile that they feel like oh yeah, this is okay. This is okay to do.
Well, yeah, I think that's stupid. I think DEI, well, the whole DEI craze is stupid because, like, the helicopter crashes and stuff that happen were committed by white people. Like, even the air traffic control was white
Okay,
too,
so
so they couldn't.
so that's
They
where
were
I'm
like a scapegoat.
so
I
that's where I'm on the
agree.
left.
Yeah.
And that's why I have a problem with Donald
Okay.
Trump. And that's why I have a problem with the right is because
Okay.
they
I
are
don't
trying
like I
to
don't like Trump either.
well, I don't get it because you're a white nationalist, but then like they're trying to
Well,
restore white nationalism and now you're pretending that like that's not your view.
Well, because they're not. Well, I mean, if you want me to be brutally honest, because they're not doing a good job at it.
I
They're
know.
doing
So I
terribly.
know. So why are you just being
Like,
dis?
yeah.
Here's the thing. I don't. Here's the thing. I really like. I hate your views. I think they're abhorrent. But the thing maybe that drives me the
Okay.
most nuts about like neo Nazis is you guys are all fucking cowards. None of
Hmm.
you will stand on business of what your views are. You only do that like in Discord and on Reddit, and then you always show up to these debates and
Yeah.
pretend to be something that you're not. If your views are so good, why do you have to hide behind other shit? I stand 10 toes down on what my views are. You know
Well, I
that your
mean,
views are dog shit. You know
well,
that they are, and you know you can't bring them up.
well,
In fact, you entered this conversation on false pretenses where you said Democrats and Republicans are both bad. That's what you told Jen to come up here,
yeah, because
and then
it
it
is
turns out you're just like a Nazi. You're
exactly.
just a Nazi that doesn't want to admit that you're a Nazi.
Listen. There's a thing called corporatism. It's like a blend of socialism and capitalism, and it's like I think we would agree that a mixed economy is good, but no current political party is going to achieve that because it
I
would
don't
be
care about
against their.
political parties though. I want to talk about ideas. And my ideas
Okay, okay,
and
then
my
okay,
ideas and your ideas
listen,
are at odds
I,
because in order for us to get the
okay,
type of economy that we want, I believe that you need equality, I believe you need equity, and I believe you need diversity. And you want no equality, no equity, and no diversity. Your plan sucks. Everybody who's ever tried your plan fucking sucks. They fall apart almost immediately. I don't know if
it
it's just
should
fear, like
listen.
you're afraid of people that look different than you,
No,
but
no, no,
like
no, no,
the
no.
history of white nationalism is failure.
You're you're okay, listen, you're okay. No. I do agree that the DEI stuff is bad because it's anti-pragmatic. The state should be pragmatic in who they hire and stuff like that. But like listen, so okay, we both agree that DEI is well, I mean the criticism of it is stupid. But where I disagree is that there shouldn't be um oh fuck, what's the word? Like uh the word for like just like giving it was like with college, like giving just these minorities just like freeway into college and all that stuff. What was it? Oh, I'm trying to
That
remember
wasn't. Are you talking about
um
affirmative action?
yeah, yeah, affirmative action.
Okay, that's different than
Yeah.
DEI,
That's
obviously.
where I disagree. That I think that's a stupid like solution
How do you?
to
Let me
quote
ask you
unquote solving
how.
white supremacy.
Okay, the same scenario that brought up affirmative
Yeah.
action. So affirmative action was brought
Hmm.
to the forefront because people from
Hmm.
poor communities, specifically minorities from poor communities, they were not given access to the same level of education, K through 12, and then in universities. So affirmative action was a way
Right.
to try and correct the injustices of the past and try and take communities who had historic low education and had poor performing schools. Oftentimes, you didn't have both parents in the house either because they both had to work, or you had single parents, and so
Right.
it was taking people who historically had been persecuted, and that's why they were where they were, and said like we're going to make sure that these people like an injustice is fixed. Do we feel that injustice has been fixed? Because I
Yeah.
look around America and I still see that a black community is far more likely to be more poor than a white community.
Oh yeah, that's often
So
true,
it seems like
but
we haven't fixed it yet. So why are we abandoning affirmative action?
well, because
Because white
quote unquote
because white
justices of the
mediocre
past
people are
broad,
bitches. That's why.
broad.
Mediocre white
You
whiny
can't fix
bitches.
it
That's
by
why.
pushing white people down. You can't fix it by pushing just white people down and then
That's
making
not pushing
like the
white people
minorities now
down.
do
That's
class.
it's not pushing white people down.
You're making them into oppressors.
That's not
You can't
pushing white
make
people
the you
down.
can't push the oppression.
It is not
Yeah,
pushing white
how is it
people
not?
down. It is fixing a wrong. You can still go to school. If you were born and raised in the white suburbs, you already have a leg up. Why when as a country we held
Yeah.
black people down for so long that we finally do something to fix it and all of the racists are like, this isn't fair. Oh, it's not fair? Something these folks, their grandparents couldn't drink from the same water fountain. They didn't have public education. Their
Hmm.
great great grandparents were enslaved people. And you're crying like, and we have a bunch
Yeah.
of people in this country going,
The most
it's not fair.
yeah.
That's
There's like
fucking crazy. The fragility of white people in this country is fucking wild. There is
there's
not,
like
and that's why we're
well
struggling as a
yeah,
country. That's why we're
listen.
losing our foothold because weak,
Well
mediocre,
yeah, I agree.
conservative white people, white nationalists. You guys are just fragile. Toughen
Well it's
up.
also Okay. Okay, one point at a time. Okay, well, I mean, slave owners are like less than 3% of the current white population. Like, barely any people are descendants of
Yeah,
slave
but it
owners
doesn't. I'm
anymore.
not talking about the
Compared to the rest of
owners.
the world.
I'm not talking about slave owners. I'm talking about the historical
Well,
oppression
you
of black people.
mentioned, yeah, well, you mentioned like historical like wealth passing down from generation to
That's not
generation.
just
Most white people
That's
now
not
are
slave
descendants
owners. That's
of
also
immigrants.
landowners. That's also landowners. That's also people who had jobs.
Yeah, exactly.
That's people who owned homes, who owned farms, who owned acreage. And black people were
Well,
not
yeah,
allowed to do any of that for generations.
Well, the freed slaves of the North were. They had a
When
lot of
was that?
businesses up there.
What
They
year was that?
were like what? Post 1880,
There we
they
go.
were. That's
When was our country founded?
yeah. Okay, well, 1776.
Okay,
I know, but
generational
okay.
wealth had a white people had a 100-year generational wealth head start, and even when we gave black people rights to own land, it was still impossible because we
Yeah,
still allowed for white people to not sell them land, and we still allowed them to be discriminated against. So they didn't get to go buy
yeah.
the best land. They had to go places where they had the worst possible land, where people were desperate enough that they would drop their racism to sell their land to a black person. And by the way, all of these people were supposed to get 40 acres and a mule, and we're just like, nah, never mind. We're not doing that anymore.
Well, yeah. Well, okay, but that does okay. Well, but now in with the process of reversing that, you're um what okay, but do you agree with reparations then? Because I feel like
Yeah,
that's completely
absolutely. Yeah,
retarded.
why wouldn't we keep
No.
our
Wow.
promises? What's that?
What promises? What
40 acres
promises?
and a mule.
Okay.
Bro, how much if you had
And
40
when was
acres,
that
how
said?
much
When was
would your
that said?
40 acres be worth right now? Almost anywhere. We're talking most places
Probably like
millions of dollars.
millions,
Yeah.
millions. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's
But
why. We made a promise, we didn't keep the promise.
why should rural bumfuck like rednecks who can barely afford their next meal be able to like give up all their money
They
with
won't.
they
They
don't
don't.
have any generational wealth
Rural bumfuck
or anything?
rednecks don't pay any
No.
taxes, dude. It's going to be rich people that pay for it.
Well,
Poor people.
okay.
This is
But
another
I'm
lie.
just saying
This is another lie that mediocre white
my
people are told.
problem is
Why should I have to spend my
but
hard-earned money? You won't. You don't pay any taxes
exactly.
anyways. Like
Okay,
50% of Americans don't actually pay taxes. This isn't going to be poor people paying reparations. It's going to be rich people
what will be the criteria?
who benefited from this system and who were
Okay.
given a head start. That's who pays.
Okay, I agree. That's who should pay,
That's how this
but
would work.
a lot of leftists a lot of leftists don't have a clear criteria of the reparations. They just think all white people, like in general, like en masse, they
Well,
just think
I
that all
can't
of them
speak
should
for
pay.
them.
And I think,
I can't speak for them,
yeah.
but you were against it. Have you never thought of this? Have you never thought of like I'm against it because poor people will pay? What if poor people didn't pay? Have you never like thought through that?
Because because you keep mentioning white privilege and white oppression and all of this, and you're trying to make it seem like all white people benefit, ergo they should
No,
have to
I
pay
said it.
for
I
it. Like it's
specifically
fucking
said
stupid.
it was
Like,
situational. Specifically, look. The truth
yeah,
is,
it is.
people have inherent advantages. Like I was
Mhm.
born real like
Yeah.
especially for where I lived, which was surrounded by white Mormons. Like I was like top
Okay.
of the
Oh, wait,
top
you're from
top of
Utah?
the yeah, I'm from Utah. I was like top of the top athletic, right? I had advantages.
Uh-huh.
I didn't have like sometimes privilege exists and it's important to make sure that it doesn't. And I got certain
Oh.
advantages that I probably shouldn't have gotten just because I was good at sports and I could see like one
Mhm.
time I got pulled over doing 85 and a 25 and I was going to be late for my basketball game. The cop that pulled me over knew where I was going. I told him like shit, I'm late. If I don't make it, like I can't play the first half. He's like, "Go. Don't go over 40." And he just let me go. But you could see if somebody else came down and driving their IROC with
Well,
their, my brother, for example, looking like he did. If he got pulled over, that dude's getting thrown in jail. Sometimes privilege exists. I understand why people who don't
okay.
have privilege say like we just need an equal playing ground. It doesn't. It makes everybody better. Having everybody have an equal position as much as we possibly can makes everybody better. That's a true meritocracy.
Mm.
What we have right now is a bunch of
Yeah.
really below average Republicans screaming meritocracy while running from it.
Okay, yeah, yeah, and I agree with that because if I may, my dad has had like a similar story like that. Well, I mean, he was actually on the victim part of the cop story because well, my dad, well, because he's Jewish, he looks a little bit Middle Eastern, and like one time he got pulled over for having like an expired tag, and the cop just, instead of a fine or anything light, he just straight up pulled a gun on him and like uh, told him to like get out, and he like investigated the vehicle. And then when he got home, the tag was in the mailbox. Like he could have died
How'd
over that retarded cop.
Hey, don't
And I
don't
mean, I agree.
listen,
Yeah,
listen. We're not going to drop slurs here. That's like
and I agree.
one.
Yeah, yeah,
Wait,
yeah,
wait, wait,
yeah,
wait,
yeah.
wait, 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 wait. We
Oh,
don't drop
sorry.
slurs here. One and only
Okay,
one.
sorry.
Let me ask you this question though. Normally I would drop you after that,
Mhm.
but I'm because I want to
Yeah,
know this
but,
question.
mhm.
How is that your dad? How do you know the history
What do
of
you
the?
mean? What do
Hold on, let me finish. That was a weird
Mhm.
way I worded that question. So let me explain better because I understand why you're confused. Your dad had those experiences. You're
Yeah,
Jewish. You understand the
yeah,
mistreatment of Jewish people all over the world. How did you become a
yep,
person?
absolutely.
How did you become a person that holds the ideas you have now then? How do you look through that lens,
Because,
see who the oppressor is and then join the
because,
oppressor? How did that happen? Is it just cuz you thought like
because the
I
world.
want to be on like team oppressor?
Well, no, because the entire world has always been against Jewish people,
I know. So
and
why
because
did
I
you
think that's
join the team that's
unjust.
so why join the team that's against Jewish
Yeah.
people?
Well, because the leftists are now against Jewish people. I
We're
mean,
not.
they're like
Nobody
the
on the
biggest
left.
supporters
We're not against
of
Jewish people. We're
Palestine.
against
They're the biggest supporters
Netanyahu
of.
and we're against genocide.
Okay,
None of us are against Jewish people.
listen, I don't like the Israeli government either, but they say like intifada, like they want Israel gone, not just the
Sure, there.
government.
Listen,
Like they
there.
want Israel.
Yeah, sure. There are people who are like free Palestine. There are people
Yeah,
who are Muslim who have been at war forever,
yeah.
or they want to go to war. And
And
those
they
people,
deliberately
and
attack
those
Jewish
and those
students.
people
Deliberately.
and those people I don't agree with either. Like I'm nonviolent, but I will
Okay.
tell you that nobody is. I've never met a single lefty who looks at what's happening in Israel and blames Jewish people. We blame the
They
Israeli.
do. They
No,
do.
no, no, no,
They
not the
do.
no, not the people I run around with. But if they did, I
Oh,
would
okay.
condemn them. But I'm still confused. I would condemn those
Hmm.
on the far left that say things like that. I would condemn the people on the far right. You don't seem to have really a problem
Yeah.
with the far right. You seem to align with the same people on the far right
Yeah.
who are saying this. Like I'm gonna guess you like Nick Fuentes.
Yeah.
Am I right about that?
No, no, no. I hate Nick Fuentes. No,
Why?
he's gay.
Why do you hate him?
He's a very
Did you
he's
say
a
because
very
he's
bad
gay? Is
representation.
that what you said?
Yeah, he's a
Okay,
very bad
so all
representation
right.
of the
So
far
you're
right.
also
He's a
homophobic.
very
Bro, this is crazy.
well,
You come from a family who has faced oppression historically, and you're homophobic and a white nationalist. This is crazy. I don't get how this fucking happened to you. That's crazy,
you learn something new every day, you know.
dude. I
Okay.
what? Listen, dude. Get out of it. This doesn't end well. This is not a good ideology. It's still I know that it's fun to jump on
Mhm.
Discord and play video games and scream the N-word and
No.
drop R slurs, and it's fun that you guys feel like you're pushing the boundaries, but this is just like teenage bullshit. And the reality is like you are on the side of the oppressor, and you're not actually doing any of it.
Mhm.
You're just rooting on shitty people. You're not even part of it. You're just like, yay, shitty
Mhm.
people. And
Yeah.
eventually they would come for you. Eventually the same group that you're rooting on,
Oh, yeah.
because it condenses and it condenses and it condenses, and eventually they'd be like, oh wait, you're part Jewish, and then you go.
True.
Dude, it's you don't have to be
But
this hateful. I promise the world's a better place than that. You don't have to be this hateful, spiteful. Try and connect with people. Stop hating so many people for no fucking reason.
I, uh, yeah.
Do it, dude.
Well, I mean,
It just it makes
the
your life
left
worse.
is okay, but I mean, the left won't really help in anything. They won't really change the system either. They're not really gonna
You do it one by one.
really help much. I mean, well, I mean, well, because like the Democrats, I mean, they want to push towards progressivism, like the stuff that you believe, but they aren't implementing that into law. They aren't doing that. They're just using like the aesthetics of it
I agree.
because both
I got to get back to the I
both
got to get
parties
back
are.
to the show. You can come back another time. Let me just say I agree with that. I also think a Democrats' approval rating is at 26%, and I think that's too high. I agree with you. I don't think that most of the Democrats we elect give a flying fuck about the stuff we care about, and it's our job to push them left. But I'm just saying to you, like I came from the right. I didn't make it down the alt-right pipeline. My friends did. Don't do it, man. It's not worth it. It's not.
Okay.
You'll regret it. The
All right.
rest
It was
you'll
good
either
talking
wound
to
up,
you.
you'll either wind up lonely and angry, or you'll regret it the rest
Yeah.
of your life. Choose peace. Choose love. Choose love. Be happier. All right, brother.
Okay.
Thanks for coming by.
All right.
We'll see you.
Have a good day. Yeah.